He's 2 months older than I am. I don't believe what he says. When we would go in for an expedition out on the plains, it was usually for buffalo. And we would spend 2 to 3 years over there collecting buffalo. And what they would do, some leader would say, I'm going to the buffalo country, who wants to go with me? And he would collect anywhere from 50 to 200 Nanipus. And they would move to the plains and with all their baggage, and then they'd spend 2 to 3 years there and come back. And of course, when you did that, you had to build these alliances or this, at least declare peace long enough for you to accomplish what you went for the plains for. And that meant some gift giving or ceremonial recognition for certain people. So it had to be a diplomat as well, because there were tribal societies that protected their tribe, usually of young, experienced men, and they would be the protectors of all tribes, not riots to get through and you could pass through the country. And of course, other times when you threw the sign, we would talk Indian Sign Language, and the first question would be, question, what are you called? And when you replied, they said, oh, I know that name, I know who you are. Or it would come back, you killed one of my relatives, how are we going to sit down to smoke the peace, or shall we now fight? So those decisions had to be made. So you could run into some hostility, but you could also run into your allies as well.
And did they bring their families with them if they're going for 2 or 3
Yes, they would.
years?
They would bring their family.
Okay.
The whole family unit would go.
So the young men grew up going to find the buffalo. Got it.
Yeah, and see this, when you brought the whole family, those young children are learning what you are doing. They're watching it, or they're being told through stories that what you should watch for, what are the dangers, and what are the good sides. So that whole expedition would be a learning experience for that group of people. And some of our best leaders are the travelers. Pilot, Krause, Joseph, the one that became known as Lawyer, and Red Bear. Those experienced men became the leaders in 1877 during our war with the United States. So building leadership was also done when they would go on these expeditions.
I'd like to add one quick thing to that, and that is that everybody who's familiar with the 1877 war realizes that the United States Army, with their horses and their men and their armament, for the most part, could not catch a Nez Perce family with their women, kids, and old people. That is historical fact. It's just the way it is. Because they've been practicing for years. Chief Many Wounds was raised at the Whitebird area. He swam Salmon River every day from the time he learned to swim. He could swim Salmon River every day, summer and winter. Their horses were taught to swim the river. The horses were driven into the river in shallow waters, and then into shallow currents. The mares kept their colts on the downstream side, break the current. The colts learned water from their mothers. Indian children were taught to swim the same way. Go in the river in the summertime in the shallow areas downstream from your mother. The children are taught to swim. One of the things that we found talking to the elders was this came down through generations. We talked to a number of elders who said, well, one of the things that was upsetting to the Nez Perces, or a source of astonishment to the Nez Perces, was these grown men, some of them didn't know how to swim. They tipped the canoes over in the Salmon River and they grab a hold of a big rock and that's it. They're out there stuck there until somebody comes out and rescues them. They didn't know how to swim. And that was laughable. You know, what? They adult people, they don't know how to swim. And then we see the Army trying to chase Nez Perce across Salmon River. Same thing. Nez Perce cross the river. Men, women, children, horses, cattle, all swim the river. General Howard come along with his troopers. They can't get across the river. What are we going to do? The Nez Perces were on the hills across from Whitebird. They could see them up there with their telescope and their binoculars. They were laughing at them. They were turning their breech clouts down and showing them their backsides and laughing at them. And you know, that again is a matter of historical record. And it wasn't that funny, but I mean, it was different. So these trips out onto the plains, in a sense, were a dress rehearsal for moving. My wife and I have been making teepees for 40 years, and we do little teepee demonstrations we have in the past. We're kind of getting tired of it, but too old. But one of the things we do with school children, when it comes, we put the teepee up, and we talk about the teepee and the circle and the family and where your place is in the teepee and stuff. And then class is over, it's time to go. How long does it take to take that teepee down? And we do this kind of as a joke, but you pull those pins, and one person goes this way with the part of the teepee, and one person goes the other way with the other part of the teepee, and tip that pole over, and leave the poles. You can always get new poles. And I always tell the kids this: when you start pulling those pins, say, "Soldiers coming." And there was a phrase, I forgot what it was, but it means soldiers coming, and the thing that goes along with that is the word homtits. Hurry up. Soldiers coming. Didn't take long. It doesn't take long to take the teepee down if you know soldiers are coming.